Namaskar and a very good evening. Can you please confirm if I'm audible to you all? Thanks, Rahul, for the confirmation. Okay, guys. Thank you for the confirmation. Yeah. So I hope you're able to see the screen clearly. Can I get one more line of confirmation? If the screen is clear, we'll proceed forward. Okay, thank you. So as you can see on the screen, it's a very limited invite session with specific focus on these 5 topics. And I do understand we're getting a lot of requests for more workshop, but this time we have started offline mentorship. So that's the reason why we are not able to launch a lot of batches online. So, but then we decided this is a blueprint which will be extremely useful for those who are starting the preparation and those who are yet to start the preparation. Okay. With this context, I'll dwell deep into what has to happen for today, and it's going to be a short session, 40 to 45 minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A for 10 to 15 minutes. This is exactly how it is going to be. Okay, so welcome to the session, guys. So let's proceed forward. Now, these are the aspects which are about to be discussed. Okay, the first is a zero distraction zone, followed by focus block slots, time, energy, attention, 1 week strategy, and pass in 2 hours. Before I talk about each of this, I'll give you a context, because if I talk about it directly, you won't be able to visualize. What I'll do is I'll show you a case study of one of the students who has cleared very recently in the last attempt, so that you will be able to correlate that when we come back and discuss this. Okay, that is how you have to understand it clearly. So I'll come back to this. We have this slide once again, and this is where we'll get a proper understanding of all the 5 steps. Right. So in terms of looking at what Aryan has done. So the name of the student is Aryan. Now let me play a short video for you. Please confirm if it is audible to you. I'm just playing a short 1 minute video for you. So listen to him, and then I'll take the conversation forward.
Hey everyone, this is Aryan Sinha and I feel extremely ecstatic sharing that I cleared my CA final examination. So this dream would have not been possible without my efforts, first of all, obviously, but also it would have not been possible without the blessing of my family, friends, and also this amazing mentorship and precious guidance provided by Himkant sir. I still remember, I would not just take much time, but like I remember in one of the sessions, him sir told us that there are 4 stages, 4 areas where we need to work on to cater to any kind of examination which is out there. The first one being is mindset. The second one being planning, third one being ruthless implementation, and fourth being paper presentation. Eventually, through my self introspection and guidance provided by him, sir, I realized that the area where I was stuck on was the mindset. I was so much ashamed of accepting failure that I could not, even though I had a well made plan and all the capabilities to do all the effort, but because of the lack of clear mindset, I was unable to clear the exam. I was so much frustrated and I questioned my self worth to an extent where I felt that I am just, I have zero competence to ace this examination. But because of this amazing guidance and techniques that was taught to us in the mentorship program, that really helped me. One such technique was focus block technique, where we used to divide 1 hour of study into 50 minutes of study, and in the remaining 10 minutes we used to revise whatever we studied in the 50 minutes. So this thing really helped me. The number of revisions that I used to do really increased. Rather than studying new things, I started focusing on revising more. Also, another thing was, not aiming at getting exemption and, acing each and every subject. My aim was to pass this exam, and the only thing that I did was to, develop a reasonable mark sheet in my mind. Like suppose I was bad at SCMPE subject, but I just expected around 48 in that. And in my IDT and all, I was good, so I was expecting in 50s. So somehow I made my aggregate in my mind in the reasonable marks and all, and then finally, I worked according to that marks. My aim was not to get 80 or 70 or anything. My aim was just to get the reasonable marks to give me that aggregate and pass in the mark sheet. And those things really helped me, and it was only because of the amazing guidance provided by him, sir. So thank you so much, and I'm just filled with gratitude and overwhelmed right now. Thank you.
So hope you got a quick context of what Aryan has to say, right? Now let's delve deep into what actually happened. So how did Aryan was able to move from that failure to pass in just 2 months? So let's show me his mark sheets, which will help you to visualize your own journey. I hope the screen is visible once again for you. Can I get a confirmation? Perfect. Okay, so this is the mark sheet which Aryan had before coming to us. You can see the scores here. So this was his mark sheet. Now this is the passing mark sheet in November 23. And for you to have a quick comparison, we built this comparative sheet. Now this is when he shared the result. So in terms of the comparison, these are the scores. Okay, have a quick look. Have a quick look. All right. So how many of you here have similar scores? Now, as I said, he has an improvement of 50 plus marks. So if 50 marks are added to you, 50 marks are added to your existing score, how many of you would clear in May 24? Whether you're writing one group or both groups, or you can mention the number of additional marks you need to clear. If it's one group, let's say you already got 120, you need another 30 marks, right? For the 3 subjects. Or if it's both the groups, if you already crossed 210, you would need another 90 marks. So what exactly are the additional marks required for you to clear in May 24? Please type your additional marks. Santosh 38 definitely will happen. 7. Okay, that's quite close. Anshul. Yeah. What about others? Please mention the additional marks which are required to clear in May 24, guys. So this is exactly how you start the preparation. Where you are, where you have to go. Yes, Prasanna, 55 can happen for sure. Yes, your 55 score can also happen. What about others? So if you look at it, it will be very easy because you just have to convert your minutes into marks, both in the examination and also in the present in the preparation part. So the game is all about converting your time into marks. Yes, 46 can also happen, Rahul. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's it. So earlier, whatever marks you had, just add those 3 subject score. That is how you do it. It's a simple exercise. Another 55 marks you need, another 46 marks you need, whatever scores you had in the 3 papers which are relevant for the group is what you have to do. Okay. So now that you have an idea, so I'm saying up to 100 marks can be added easily. Beyond that, you have to put in additional effort. Okay. 100 marks can be added easily. That is exactly the advantage of having a clear cut strategy. Ashish, yes, 3 subjects, 33 can be added. Yes, 60 can be added. Yes, let's see how he was able to break down the journey here. So he spoke about this thing on my Honor CA final journey. This was post CA final exam, and I was feeling like a failure because May 23 was my second attempt, and I was sure that I'm gonna fail. That day, I saw a ray of hope in the form of a beautifully drafted email from Super Student. I believe that is the reason why. That is the reason why you actually joined the workshop, right? Another beautifully drafted email or regularly drafted email for that matter. So that was that was promising to provide the requisite aid to a CA final. With all faith in the universe, I replied to the email, and my journey with Super Student started. I got the amazing opportunity to be mentored by Himakant sir. So most of you would have started the journey just like this after looking at the mail, and right now some of you are here because of email, right? The best thing that happened to me was to see so many other students who had similar experience of failure in the CA journey. That made me realize that I have picked up a course where failure is common and success is rare. So he has beautifully articulated. Look at how beautifully he has written everything where failure is common and success is rare. But how did he make sure that he has moved from failure to pass? This is exactly what you have to do, right? This is exactly what you have to understand. Now, first level, he was talking about mindset. Next, he's talking about planning. Next, he's talking about ruthless implementation and paper presentation. And basically, although Himsar gave us many other tips, the aforesaid mentioned tips are the ones which are very crucial. Okay, mindset, planning, ruthless implementation, and paper presentation. Today, we'll discuss all the 4 topics in the agenda which is given. Next, another important tip that helped me was don't be harsh on yourself. Himsa told me that CA is not a destiny or anything. It's just a degree that you need to work and achieve for. Moreover, I was taught how to work to get it. The tips, methods, driven techniques, and many other things were crucial aids. Conclusively, I got correct and much needed boost that made me control on my life and desires and study in a more disciplined, focused manner. With all that GL, I appear for me November 23 CA finals in yesterday. Thanks to him, sir, and I would have never been able to clear without your precise support. I totally respect his gratitude, but I'm here to humbly quote that 100% of effort is here. I'm only here to give the catalyst support. So this is exactly what I would like to give it for you also. But it's important for you to focus on these 4 things, okay? Mindset, planning, implementation, and paper presentation. I hope you understood that if you can work on all these aspects, if we can help you work on all these aspects, how many of you are sure that you are going to clear in May 24? If you're sure, please type I'm sure. If these 4 aspects are added into your preparation layer, if you are going to take care, how many of you believe that you're going to clear? So all of you understood that you also have similar problems. You also have similar problems. So most of the CA journeys have similar issues, but the problem is they don't have similar solutions. Very few people get access to solutions. A lot of them get stuck with the problems forever. Okay, this is what has happened. Now, this is the time for you to focus. We'll spend 3 to 4 minutes in each of this area, and I want you to pay complete and 100% attention onto this. Okay, let me get started here. So we are talking about zero distraction zone. To begin with, first is zero distraction zone. Now, what do I mean by zero distraction zone? So distraction has 2 components. One is internal distractions, external distractions. Okay, there are 2 components when it comes to distractions. So what are internal distractions? As I'm speaking to you, I might be thinking of something or someone. You might be thinking of something or someone. So these are internal distractions which keep bothering you. Now, in addition to that, let's say as we are speaking here, let's say someone knocks on the door, or let's say I just got a call. So these are external distractions. So it is important to block both internal distractions and external distractions. Now, please tell me, what do you think is more difficult to handle? What do you think is more difficult to block, internal or external? What kind of distractions are more difficult for you to handle? I need a couple of responses. Absolutely right. So before we go ahead and block the internal distractions, it is important to block the external ones. Okay. So how do we do it? First, you are having a living library where you're zoning out, where you're coming out of the regular environment. Living environment is different from studying environment. Please understand, you might have a fantastic room with the best of the facilities, but it is not conducive for studying. Bedroom is to sleep, not to study. Please understand that. So you have to create a study space. You have to create the study environment, both in terms of the physical accessories required, also in terms of the atmosphere, the vibe. The vibe has to be felt in a way that you want to study, not the other way around, right? You should not feel lethargic, you should not feel lazy, you should be active, you should be energetic. Okay, that is the reason why now I'm talking about what we do normally. That we are talking about what we do normally for our offline students. So this is what we do. So we kind of build an environment called living library. So we take a space where everything is optimized for studies. This is number 1. So first thing you have to do is make sure you live in a library, which indicates the intensity at which I'm talking about. That space has to be completely customized for studies, nothing else, right? So entire premises, I'm not saying the whole house or the whole apartment, even if it's for one room, even if it's your table and chair, make sure you use it only for that and for nothing else. And most importantly, just hang out with students who are writing exams in your entire circle, because only those students who are actually writing exams are serious. Otherwise, they're not serious. So please don't let someone dilute your intensity. Only hang out with people who are also having the same or similar or relative exams, right? Next, food and maintenance should be automated. There should not be any decisions regarding food. Let's say when you have to wake up every single day and decide whether you have to eat idli, dosa, vada, whatever it is, it doesn't make any bloody difference in your main exam, right? So why do you waste 5 minutes or 10 minutes of attention for deciding? So have a blanket decision. I'll eat this every single day. Prepare a menu and give it to your mom or whoever is taking care of your food. Do not involve much in daily decisions, especially for sourcing food and regular maintenance. Make sure you automate that. Please do that for a couple of days so that you'll save hours every single day. It is very important. I'm not just talking about the time, I'm talking about the focus also. Please take the decisions where you can automate it. And for those who are distracted, who are finding it very hard, who are having a lot of internal chaos, and who are actually experiencing a lot of clutter and confusion, my sincere suggestion to you all is please silence yourself for a week. I'm not talking about your mobile, I'm talking about you. I'm asking you to get into a silent mode for a week. Okay. So, what would make this? If you do that, you are removing all the unnecessary chatter externally and you start focusing on what is happening internally. So when you do that internally, you'll be able to identify the gap. You'll be able to know the reason. You'll be able to, downsize on what exactly is, zero down on what exactly is happening, what exactly is bothering you. When you're constantly engaging with the external environment without taking a U-turn, it'll be very hard for you to even point out or focus or identify what is happening. Okay, this is a very very good move for you. It's a similar concept of vipassana, the 10-day vipassana. You're instead of going and sitting and doing nothing, you're actually studying. Okay, doing nothing is far more difficult than studying. So that's the reason why we're using that component. But then it's the same thing. Yeah, see, Ashish, the whole point is you keep seeing it, but then you just write it down what is bothering you one time, two times, three times. Your mind needs some attention. We'll talk more about this in thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and all of that. We have a separate session regarding that. But I understand what you are going through, but it can be resolved very fast, probably less than a week. Yeah. And no mobile usage. As I said, you get into silent mode, and apart from that, you make sure your mobile also goes silent. How many of you would like to try this? Okay, zero distraction zone. How many of you would like to try this? Please drop a message. I want to gauge the seriousness of the cohort here. So please drop a message if you are willing to try. Please type zero distraction zone. Please type zero distraction zone. Just type zero distraction. Perfect. Perfect. Great. Okay. Now let's talk about focus block slots. Now, when I talk about zero distraction zone, let's say when you remove distractions, just because you remove distraction, you're not automatically going to focus. It's like just because you don't watch TV, it doesn't mean you're studying, right? You have to understand this. There's a clear-cut difference between distraction and focus. Lack of distractions would not automatically convert into focus. Now, you might be feeling better in terms of not getting distracted, but it's not focus. You cannot take it for granted. It's important that you kind of pay extra attention to focus. Now, what is focus? It's simple. The definition is very simple. Focus is saying yes to everything and no to everything else. Yes to one thing, no to everything else. You're just deciding, you're just saying yes to one single thing. Whatever it is in your preparation, it's studies. You're saying yes to studies and no to everything else. Okay. So this is the first or the simplest explanation of focus. Now, you need to understand in the zone of focus, there should not be anyone. I'm talking about combined studies, I'm talking about classes or anything. Ideally, when you have the highest amount of focus, please do active learning. What is active learning? You're studying something from the book directly. If you're watching, no, this is passive learning. What you're going through right now, what you're experiencing from us right now is passive learning. Okay. So active learning is something where you're studying something directly from the book, from the original source, which will trigger a lot of thoughts in your mind and it will help you to store the information deeper and longer. Okay, so this is not superficial. So please make sure in your focus zone, always make sure you do active learning. Next, do that in the dedicated times study spaces. And we also, for especially for our offline students, we make sure they do some breathing techniques to calm their mind. And every time, this is an important thing. The original idea of focus block thought is at any point of time, you're not studying for more than 50 minutes. You just have to study for 50 minutes at a time. We should not study for more than 50 minutes at any point of time. Okay, this is about your focus block slots. And finally, once you sit to study, make sure you do 3 focus block slots. You're sitting for 3 hours, which is divided into 50 minutes plus 5 minutes revision plus 5 minutes break. Again, 50 minutes, 3 50-minute slots instead of studying for 3 hours at a stretch, and never study for more than 3 hours. Never study for more than 3 hours. When I say after 3 hours, take a 1 hour break at least 1 hour. Okay, this is exactly what will maintain your momentum. Okay, now how many of you want to try? How many of you want to try focus block slots? How many of you want to try focus block slots? Perfect. Next, time, energy, attention. Okay, time, energy, attention. Let's say you're not attending this workshop. Let's say you're not doing anything. Let's say you're watching something. Whether you use it properly or even if you don't use it properly, you keep losing time continuously. Okay, you keep losing time continuously. You always keep losing time continuously. You have to understand that you cannot save time. Like money, you can save money and use it at a later point of time. But time, you cannot save time and use it at a later point of time because it continuously expires. So that is the reason why you have to leverage this. You have to leverage this where a lot of students are not smart enough to understand this concept. If you're intelligent, you'll always make sure you start utilizing time, not spending time. Okay, you start investing time or you start at least utilizing time. So this is the significant difference. You should be focusing on a variable which is free of cost. Time is free for you, right? Time is free. Everything else is costly. If you want my attention, it's expensive. If you want anyone's attention, it's expensive. If you want someone's energy, you have to eat food. Time is it's just there, right? Energy, you want energy, you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to do something. Attention, you want your attention, it's hard. Someone's attention, not. Time is just lying, just like that, right? Why are you not utilizing it? You have to understand that particular component when it comes to time. No, energy can only be utilized but cannot be saved. Okay. No, time can be utilized but cannot be saved. Energy needs to be managed. Energy has to be managed by coordinating the input flow and output flow. It is important for you to manage your energy resources, and attention is the hardest to engage. Now, when you understand attention, please make sure when you go to zero distraction zone plus focus block plots. If you utilize both, you'll be in a position to pay attention to what is happening. Okay, this is about time, energy, and attention. Next, in terms of the 1 week strategy. So a lot of people keep talking about lack of time to prepare for both the groups. I would say if you prepare in a particular way, if you prepare in a particular way, all you would need is just 1 week per subject, just 1 week per subject. And I'm telling you how you are going to complete a subject in just 1 week. Okay. So this is perfectly coordinated. This is completely coordinated and it has given tremendous results to most of the previous students, right? So what is 1 week strategy? Day one, you're doing index mapping exercise. Now, what is index mapping exercise? Index mapping exercise always talks about one line summary or 1% summary of the entire subject. Index mapping is all about giving you that 1% or one line summary of the entire subject. Now you will literally complete a whole subject on day one. Okay, we have some videos regarding index mapping. You can check that if you want. So index mapping is what you have to do to begin any subject. Now I'm talking about making you do this even without coaching. It has nothing to do with coaching. So you have to do index mapping. Next is endgame optimization. So once you are done with your index mapping, you immediately have to go and check previous question paper because you need to know the starting point. You also have to know the ending point. Okay, index mapping is done. Index mapping, endgame optimization is done. Next, ICI revision references. So ICI has a revision material called Saransh, and even otherwise it has individual subject-wise and group-wise modules of summary. In a single day, go through the entire summary, which means in 3 days, you'll know what exactly is the length and breadth of the subject. And day 2, you'll be able to understand what are the questions. On day 3, you're knowing a very, very good material. You're having a very, very good material to complete 10% of the syllabus. Okay, 10% of the syllabus can be just completed. When I say 10% of the subject by going through the summary. So in 3 days, you'll get a very, very good and solid overview. Then start creating single page summary for each chapter for A plus topics. So identify 30 to 40 marks of the most important topics, which will definitely come for sure without gambling. So, and go through the subject and start preparing single page summary. Now, by the end of this 4-5 days, you'll be in a position to score 25 easily. I'm sorry, this is a challenge for you. This is a challenge for you. If you do this the way I'm saying it, you'll be able to score 25 easily in just 5 days. And day 6, you're doing cumulative revision. Day 7, exam plus exam mistake tracker. Exam mistake tracker is something which will help you to avoid the mistakes you are about to make. Okay, this is what it is. And why are we doing this? Because in exam, you have to make sure you pass in 2 hours. Now, how do you pass in 2 hours? The first thing is you need to understand how to read the paper. You quickly scan and read the paper. Understand the question. Quickly scan, understand the question. And I'm not including decision making here because it's not a direct skill. So decision making, which to write, which not to write, that is there. So understand the question and interpret the essence of the question. Like you understand the question and interpret in your mind, and then based on your interpretation, recall the specific provision. Should I recall this provision or this provision? Should I pick up information from your mind from India is 116 or India is 16. So you need to understand from where should you recall. Your mind is storing your memory, right, in multiple chips and formats. So you need to know from which box is what you have to pick up the content. Most of the students make this mistake where they write right answers but not relevant answers. They pick up the wrong box. It becomes a vague answer. It becomes a very generic answer because you're not able to recall it precisely. Now, how many of you have this issue? What I'm talking about, your inability to recall answers precisely. So this is a bigger problem. This is the reason why you end up scoring 2 marks out of 10 marks instead of 4 marks. Okay, it's not that it's a wrong answer, it's not a relevant answer. It has to be relevant. More than being right, it has to be relevant to the specific question in context. Okay, this is something which you have to fix. Now, once you recall, you have to apply the concept in the context of the question. You cannot directly recall and dump it. A lot of people do it in a BCom exam. That's acceptable. In CA, no, you have to apply that. And once you apply it, before you actually jot it, all of this has to happen at the mental level. All of this, you should not hurry up and start writing. Before you jump into writing the answer, you have to create a soft copy. You have to create a soft copy of what you're about to write. A lot of people write the answer and then they realize what they would have written. They don't know what they're writing. They write the answer first and then they realize this is what I've written. This is unfortunate. This is pathetic. So please understand what are the steps which are involved in answer writing. So these are all the steps which are in answer writing. And we make our students go through the cycles multiple times, not just on the exam day, almost every single day, you'll go through the steps. So that is how you're starting a preparation at zero distraction zone. And just because you don't have distraction, you cannot automatically focus. You're able to focus. And once you're able to focus, we are engaging the most resources into studies, because of which you will be able to, if you have time and energy attention with you, you'll be able to complete subject in just 1 week. And if that is being done, you have a great chance and great possibility to complete and pass that particular subject in just 2 hours. Okay. How many of you are clear till this extent? How many of you are clear till this extent? If you are clear, please type clear. All right. So special attention to this particular topic, time, energy, and attention. Now, what do you think in your life, for you specifically, what is your biggest problem for you? Don't worry about others. What do you think is the biggest problem for you? Is it time? Is it handling time? Is it energy, or is it attention? In your case, what is relatively more difficult? Only choose one. Okay, what is relatively more difficult? Are you not able to utilize time? Are you not able to have energy? Or are you not able to pay attention, although you have time and energy? So most of the cases, an issue with attention, because right now you're spending your time here, but I'm not sure you're paying attention completely. So that is something why that is the reason why it is hard for you to achieve the results. You're quantitatively putting in time, you're being productive, but you're not being efficient. Okay, so this is something which you have to clearly understand. So when I talk about attention, as I told you, if attention is a problem, first of all, identify it, and first of all, understand, and second of all, understand it's not easy to fix it. It's the hardest to fix. It's very, very hard to fix attention. So the two things which are given, one is your zero distraction zone and focus block slot. It will give you the fastest firepower to fix both the aspects. Okay, so this is something which will help you to fix on your attention. And once you start fixing your attention, your brain will be pushing you to put in more time. And once you have time and attention, energy will always follow. Okay, so this is what you have to do for time and energy attention. And in terms of the overall part, so once somebody clears, even with all the students, Aryan or any other student, so your life starts here. Immediately you have to get started. All of them are getting even off-campus placements at 10 lakhs, and then build an all-round personality and balance all the four wheels of life. Eventually become the ideal type personality of human intelligence master. So you'll get to know it in appropriate time. And in terms of both the groups, this is exactly how we help you. So the moment somebody decides to join us online or offline, there will be a decision-making call and then onboarding call. You'll start a 5-day boot camp. and 1 week base camp for all 3 papers. Okay, this is the structure of how things work at Him Life School from here on. So in 100 days, you will be able to complete entire syllabus and clear even both groups, even if your coaching is not completely done. So this is something which will safely set you to the final destination of pass, even if you're starting at fail. You just need 100 days, and it's very, very structured. And there can't be a better schedule than this. Please do understand, timetable is not a template, it's a process. This is a very, very deep and systematic process. Just because you read it, just because you, I would say, copy it, the process, you have to understand it's not something which is said in a particular day and then you listen and it happens. It's a process. It's a process. Please understand, when it's a process, it is real, it is dynamic, it keeps changing. You have to keep adjusting. So you have to be patient in terms of implementing the process. So this is what we do for both groups. For one group, you'll have additional time. We have more, I would say, here if you see, this is cycle 1 and cycle group 1 cycle mock series also done. So before February, and you'll be able to complete your syllabus, and before March 10th, you'll be able to write the mock test series. And after that, in March, end of March, you'll be completing the second group. And April, you'll be revising everything, which is decent time because we'll make you do 50 hours challenge, 6 papers. Similarly, for single group student, you'll have multiple cycles of revision since you have additional time. So you have 2 cycles of revision because you have only 3 papers instead of 6 papers. So this is how you can use it. And finally, in terms of important topics or a priori topics, these are the ones which will give you additional marks as compared to your regular marks. So you need to understand what to focus on. What are the focus areas which are important, and what are the focus areas where you can put in less attention and energy. Okay, so these are the aspects which I wanted to cover today. These are representative things. There are a very detailed understanding of the subject, but right now this will help you to what to start. Let's say I've done my index mapping exercise, I've done my endgame optimization, I've done my single page summary, and what exactly should I do when I have to start a particular topic, and what is the source for my decision? This is the source. So there are some topics which are relatively more important than other topics. I hope you're able to get a decent exposure on all these things. So this is what we have discussed. So if you're interested, now for those who are interested, we have 2 formats. Okay, one is online mentorship to execute this, and we also have offline mentorship at Hyderabad. Offline is at Hyderabad. So these are the 2 formats which we have currently. So in case you're interested, you just have to do this. We are not asking you to because we are operating with a very, very limited set of people. So you have to decide whether you want online or offline in terms of executing it entire. This is something which you can decide. So we don't take direct admissions in the session. We definitely want you to talk to a student success manager, and then we'll do a small interview to make sure you're coming with the right intent and you're serious enough to utilize the resources. So I have dropped a phone number 707598590. You just have to ping whether it's offline mentorship or offline online. Just drop a message that you're interested in offline mentorship or online mentorship. That's it. They'll reach out to you, and they'll advise you whether you join or not. You'll get more knowledge. Now it's a group session, and additionally, when you do individual sessions, you'll be able to understand more details about your mentorship. So whether you wanted online mentorship or offline mentorship, just drop a message as applicable to you to that number. That is what you have to do. They'll be able to reach out to you. Audit marks, how to improve. I think I have written a very, very detailed answer on audit. Let me check it for you. Just a second. So I'll check it for you right away. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Yes, I'll answer this question since you wanted to know about audit. Let me. I'll show you something. Any other questions? You can keep asking. I'll answer everything at once. Yes, you can. Working people can join this. Yes. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah. So this is my Quora profile. I'm just sharing it here. You can go and read those answers. Like Facebook, LinkedIn are not so effective as Quora when I have to learn something. So here I generally write deep answers. So yeah, so I think this is the question you're talking about. How do I prepare audit by self-study in CA final? So I have mentioned this. Let me answer the question in a totally different perspective. So there is a national-wide survey which ICI did. ICI shared the insights, sharing that more than 80% of the Group 1 students who are failing because of audit. So it was a couple of years back. So most of the people failing Group 1 because of audit. And we also did our own internal survey. And when we came to know, out of 350 responses, now all the CA final students who have given 4 attempts, and they have responded saying that 63% of them responded saying that audit is the most difficult subject, and most importantly, they scored less than 35 marks. Please do understand, 65% have scored less than 35 marks and 38% have scored less than 30 marks also. So this is the problem. You're losing your entire effort because of audit. Now, it is clearly understood that it is a problem. So that is the reason why we gave a solution. Like what exactly is audit? Audit is a practical subject. According to ICI, it's a practical subject. It doesn't have numbers. It's not a theoretical subject. Audit is clearly a practical subject, just that it doesn't have numbers. Okay. And in terms of understanding audit, in terms of knowing audit, students should know what exactly is the learning outcome of each and every chapter. So if you see this images here, we have mentioned what are the outcomes of each and every chapter. So before we study the chapter, before you finish the chapter, it is important for you to know what exactly is the clear-cut outcome from the chapter. And also, ICI has mentioned what are the mistakes which people do in terms of attempting audit. So in this, if you go through this, you'll be able to identify most of the mistakes are repeated. You're also doing the same mistake. And in terms of the time, for effort, people spend 220 hours. For audit, if you spend only 100 hours, there you get 60, you get 30 here. First, with the quantitative time also, you have to spend more. You have to give equal weightage because it is also a 100-mark subject. And if you understand all of this, if you want to know more about it, yes. So this is where we say that if you're interested, I think it was written around May. So that's the image, the previous image. But for you, I already gave the number directly. So you can reach out to us in that regard. Okay. So this is about audit. I hope this query has been answered. Yeah. Swami, at any point of time, you only focus on one subject at a time. You can only study for, let's say right now studying, you cannot study 2 subjects at the same time, like a robo right, left and right. You cannot study. You only have to study one subject at a time. So since subject requires some level of assimilation of information, give it a week. Okay. So for those who are asking for my phone number, I think I'm writing it here, not my team's phone number, 70759 85970. Okay. So this is our WhatsApp number. You can reach out to us. You can save this and you can reach out to us in case you're serious to clear in May 24. Okay. Any other queries? I want to conclude in the next 5 minutes. As I said, it's going to be a short session. Yeah, most welcome. So any other queries? Ashish, you can spend more time in going through the detail. This will solve the problem in audit. We are really good in helping audit. I think most of the students clear with us because of fixing gaps in audit and DT, mostly. Earlier SCM also, now that it's not that relevant. Okay. Guys, any other questions? Any other questions? Last 2 minutes. Any questions whatsoever? Okay, fair enough. I think we're able to decide and I would say take the next step forward in terms of no, you just text and all the details. No, I'm not here to talk about cost or whatever it is. Just there are better things. Paper is 3 hours. The point is that is why you have to practice. 3 hours you cannot waste in passing Ashish. You have to cross 40 plus in just 2 hours. The last 1 hour you should be able to take it to 50 plus or 60 plus. Okay, yeah. Rahul, you can reach out to the number. They'll help you out in detail because we have customized plans for different students. It depends on what you want and where you are. So I don't have a blanket answer for your question. Okay. Most welcome, Rahul. And finally, one quick, okay, let me annotate, remove the annotation. And finally, before we conclude, I'm just quickly taking you through this. This is what you have to remember. This is what you have to understand. Start with zero distraction zone. Immediately make sure you build focus and ensure time, energy, and attention is completely utilized where you're putting in all this effort in 1 week. on one single subject, and this is exactly what you have to do. If you do this, you'll be in a position to pass in 2 hours because of the approach which we follow on a daily basis. Swami, you can reach out to the number. So we have changed all the programs. So you can reach out to us on that specific number. This time we are almost moving towards, I would say, pass guarantee program. So we have reached a particular level and a particular expertise. So now let me show you on the background. This is what we are working. So at one point of time, it was a blueprint, one last attempt. Now it's improved to a level where we're talking about pass guarantee program for our offline students. Online, we're not offering pass guarantee in the same sense as offline, because offline we have better control. But yes, it's the same efficiency, and with the same comfort sitting in your home, you can clear for sure. I think I was able to answer all your questions. And once again, thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. And as promised, I conclude the session within just 50 minutes. Yeah. So please think through this and you can reach out to us. The number has been clearly shared. You can reach out to us for any sort of queries. Okay. Thank you guys. All the very best. We have time even for both the groups. Thank you.